Hello, Abe.
Hello, Mario. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Baruch Hashem. Good.
Good.
Yeah.
How's the weather there? Cold or not?
Cold, very cold, very cold.
Really? Still
Yeah.
cold. Wow.
I mean, when the sun comes out, it's okay. But the minute it disappears, it's like winter.
Where are you? In Jerusalem?
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
I'm sure it's warmer in Tel Aviv, and
I'm sure, but I'm not there, so it doesn't help me much.
that's
But
true.
it was actually very nice. We were in Zichron Yaakov for Shabbat, and it was beautiful, beautiful weather.
Well,
In Zichron Yaakov,
oh,
I have a granddaughter who lives there.
where is
So
that?
it's between Tel Aviv and Haifa.
Oh,
And what's going in California?
yeah, it's the forecast is hot weather for the weekend.
Oh,
When I say hot, in the 80s.
80s? Okay. All right. You can survive that.
Yeah, but it's a crazy weather. The week was not warm. Today was pleasant, not warm, but they're forecasting 80, 81, 82.
Wow.
Oh, Belvo.
Hi, Walter.
Hello. How are you, Abe? A good Erev
Baruch
Shabbos, Abe.
Hashem. Huh?
A good Erev Shabbos.
Good Erev Shabbos to you as well.
How is the weather in Yerushalayim, Ira Kodesh?
Cold. It's cold.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. When the sun's out, it's okay, but otherwise, it's just sweater and jacket.
Wow.
Hmm.
Okay. I hope it warms up for you.
I hope so.
Okay.
Mhm. Good evening.
Good evening, everybody.
Hello.
Good evening.
We're on Zion, Chullin Zion.
Mhm.
So Rebbe or Rabbi Yoshua ben Zoruz testified in front of Rebbe that Reb Meir ate leaves grown in Beit Sha'an and gave testimony that Beit Sha'an was not part of Eretz Yisrael.
By the way, Ernie, by the way, the Heta Mechira, a lot of people have they went to Beit Sha'an and they said that Beit Sha'an was not part of Eretz Israel. And there was like a kind of during Shemitah year. I remember there was a whole thing there with that.
Right? So we'll see in a minute. So we said that how could Chizkiah Melech, we said Chizkiah Melech destroyed the copper snake that Moshe had created. Well, how come it hadn't been destroyed by Asa and Yehoshaphat, who had already wiped out a lot of Avodah Zarah? So the ancestors of Chizkiah on purpose left that Avodah Zarah so Chizkiah would have the schus to destroy it. Afani, I too, Rebbe, my ancestors, they left me an opportunity that I could make a big halacha and say that Beit Sham was not part of Eretz Yisrael. Mikal Talmid Chacham Shomer Dvar Halacha she'en mezichin oso. When you hear a chiddush from a Talmid Chacham, you don't make him reverse himself. You accept it. Amri lo ein maznichin oso. We don't ignore what he said. V'amri lo ein mazchisin oso. We don't say, oh, he didn't listen to his Rebbe properly. He didn't understand what his Rebbe told him. No, we accept what he says. Now, why is there a three-way distinction in these words? Mandar mezichin, because the chasiv lo yizach choshen. It says the choshen shall not be separated from the ephod. Means we don't remove it. Like we don't tell the Talmid Chacham to get rid of the halach he said. Umandar maznichin, the chasiv lo yiznach lo olam ad Hashem. Hashem is not going to reject us forever. Umandar mazchichin, the Tanya mishirabu zchuchei halev rabu machlokas b'Yisrael. This refers to being haughty. So maskif la Yehuda Braid Rabbi Shimon ben Pasi. Umiyikla man damer to Beis Shammai lav me'eretz Yisraeli. Are there people who hold that Beis Shammai is not part of Eretz Yisrael vaksiv? V'lo horish Menachos Beis Sha'an v'espnosea v'estanach v'espnosea. When they came in with Yoshua, they conquered Beit Sha'an, but they didn't cause the Canaanim to leave. So it's clear that when they came in with Yoshua, they did conquer Beit Sha'an. So they forgot what Reb Shimon said. Many big cities were conquered by the Jews when they came into Eretz Yisrael from Mitzrayim. And therefore, at that time, it was considered part of Eretz Yisrael. However, when they came back a second time, like what we're learning in Sefer Ezra, Lo Kvashum Olei Bavel. The Olei Bavel did not conquer everything that they had originally conquered. Ksavar, because the Babylonians learned Kedusha Rishon and Kitchel L'Shaita V'lo Kitchel L'Shaita, that the original Kedusha that the Jews did when they first came in doesn't exist forever. Therefore, on purpose, when they came back a second time, they left certain areas unconquered so that the Anim would have a place to grow their food during Shemitah. Beit Shan was one of those areas. Whatever the Jews conquered when they came the second time, that remained forever. And Rebbe had said that the area of Beit Shan had now been sanctified by the Olei Bavel. That's why it doesn't have Kedusha Soretz. How can you darish this whole din from what Rab Meir ate? Maybe you only eat one leaf. When you eat a leaf, it's snacking. When you snack, you don't have to give meiser. Maybe that's why he didn't give meiser. Not because the whole area is potter. No, he ate from a whole bunch. When does a bunch of vegetables have to be given meiser? When you make it into a bunch. So if Beit Shan had been part of Eretz Yisrael, Rav Meir would have eaten it. Would not have eaten it without giving meiser. Maybe he forgot. That can't be. Hashem doesn't even allow behemoths of tzaddikim to commit an aver. Tzaddikim, so it wouldn't have happened to Rab Meir by accident. Maybe he gave Trumas and Meisers from a different area that he had. So, Lo Nechshu Chaverim Li Trum Shalom Namukah. Reb Meir, who was a Chaver, certainly nobody would suspect them of giving Trumas and Meisers from not something that's nearby. Maybe he looked at a certain part of the vegetable. He said that should be Trumas and Meisers. When he ate from a different side. Rabbi Yeshua ben Zeruz gave Edus that Rav Meir ate the leaf without giving Meiser. So he certainly understood that Rav Meir didn't give Meiser. So Rav Zera gave us 3 times stories about the Behem of Tzadikim not committing an Aver. Where does this come from? My Behemtem Shel Tzadikim. The famous Meiser Rav Pinchas ben Yair Avakazal Epidyon Shvuyim. Rav Pinchas ben Yair was traveling to redeem captives. Pogabe Ginoi Nora. He was crossing the river Ginoi. Armele Ginoi Chalok li Memach ve'evorbach. He asked the river to split so he can cross. Armele Ata Halech Lasot Ritzon Konech Vani Halech Lasot Ritzon Koni. You are going to fulfill what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants for you, which is Pidyon Shvuim. But I'm also, HaKadosh Baruch Hu told me that as a river I have to flow. Ata Sofik Oisa. Sofik Yata Oisa. You might accomplish the redemption. You might not. Ani Vada Oisa. I certainly going to flow and follow what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants me to do. Therefore, I don't have to split for you. Omer lei, if you don't split, I'll make a gzeira that the water won't flow through you. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu listens to my gzeiras. I go from, you do, the Meforshim explain, the river doesn't have free will. He has to do what Hashem made him do. Pinchas ben Yair is a human being, and he uses his free will. So the river Cholat split for him. Havahu Gavadavi Dorechiti Lepischa. There was a person traveling with Pinchas ben Yair who was carrying wheat to bake matzahs for Pesach. Amar lechalok nami lahai. Rav Pinchas asked the river to split for him. The mitzvah asik. He's also going to do a mitzvah. Chalok the river split for him. Havahu taya delava badayu. There was an Arab who was walking with them. Amar lechalok nami lahai. He asked the river to split for him. That if it only splits for me and this other Jew, what are they going to say to people who accompany? That's not nice. So the river split for all 3. Rav Yosef, Kama Nofish Gavra, look how great Rav Pinchas ben Yair is. Moshe v'Shis and Ravin, more than Moshe and 600,000 Jews. Here, over there, it split once. Here, it split 3 times. Maybe it only split once for all 3 of them. That means here a nace was done for one human being, Rav Pinchas ben Yair, that was done for Moshe and 600,000. They went to a certain inn. They saw Rav Pinchas ben Yair's donkey. They wanted to feed it, and they poured some barley for the donkey to eat. Lo achal, the donkey didn't eat it. So they thought he didn't eat it because it was dirty. So chaftinu, they put it through a sieve. Lo achal, he still didn't eat. Nakrinu, they cleaned it. Lo achal. Armelu dilma loy masrim. Pinchas ben Yair, maybe you didn't give Trumas and Meisers. And they said, yeah, asrin of achal. So they gave Meiser, and he ate it. When you have Demai, and they must have bought their food from Amei Haaretz, when you're giving food to animals, you don't have to give Meiser, unless it was bought for human consumption, which it was. So Rav Pinchas ben Yair said, this animal is going to fulfill what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants, Vatem achilo so tvolin, and you give him tevel? There was no chiyuv to separate trumas and meisos. Vatnan alokech l'zer l'beima. If you buy produce to plant or to give to an animal, the kemach lo'oros, or flour to tan hides, v'shemen l'ner, or oil for a candle, not to eat, v'semen losuch bos hakelim, or to grease machinery, potter me'ad mai. You don't have to separate trumas and meisos from demai. Gemara says, if the grain was bought lechatchila for behema, then you don't have to separate trumas from meisos. If it was originally bought for human consumption, later on, they changed their mind. Chayiv laser and vatanya halokech peres ben ashruk lachila v'nimlach alem lebehema. You buy fruits from the market, and later you change your mind. You want to give it to an animal. Unless you give trumas maestras. So that explains why the animal didn't eat it. Shoma Rebbe. Rebbe heard that Rav Pinchas ben Yair was traveling in his neighborhood. Nofak Lape, he went to greet him. He invited him to have dinner. Now, Rav Pinchas ben Yair was someone who never ate at somebody's house. He didn't believe to take matanas from people. He always wanted to eat from his own food. Omer lo hain. But to Rebbe, he said yes. Tzavu panav shel Rebbe. Rebbe was happy. Omer lo kimeduma ata shemudra anom Yisraelani. What? You think I took a vow not to have anof from Jews? No. Yisrael kedosh name. Jews are holy. But I stay away from accepting invitations because yesh rots of Einlo. There are Jews that really in their heart want to invite, but he doesn't really have food to share. Yesh yesh lovena rotze. There are those who have, but don't want to give. Uksiv al tilcham es lechem ra ayin val tisolam atoisa. Don't eat the lechem of somebody who doesn't want to give. Ki k'mosar b'nafshokenu. Echol l'shasei yor melach v'libo kolamach. His heart is not with you when he eats. However, you, Rabbi, ata roitza v'yesh l'cha. You have, and you want to give. However, right now I can't join you. Miya hashta mesarvin. I have to get to where I'm going, pidyon shviyim. The b'mitzvah kondrachna, I'm doing the mitzvah of pidyon shviyim. When I come back, I'll join you for dinner. When Rav Pinchas ben Yair came back, there were white donkeys at the doorway of Rebbe. So Rav Pinchas ben Yair Omer Malach Hamavis Beveser Shalzev Aniyas. These white donkeys, when they kicked people would die. So Pinchas ben Yair says, this person has a Malach Hamavis in his house. I'm not going to stay here. Shama Rebbe Nofak Lape. Rebbe heard and chased after him. Omer Lei. Mizbinalu, I'll sell their mules, not donkeys. You're going to sell it to somebody, and you're going to sell a dangerous thing to another Jew? Mifrakinilu, I will make them hefker. They'll run away. So, but mafshas chezeka, but then there will be a dangerous animal out in the public. Akrinalu, I will remove their hooves so they won't hurt anybody. Iketsar balechai, but that hurts people. Katlinalu, I'll kill them. Ikebal tashkes, you're destroying good mules. Havakamavatish beituva, he kept on asking him, Gava Turabinau, a mountain rose between Rebbe and Pinchas ben Yair. Bocha Rebbe Vemer. Rebbe understood that Ma b'chayein kach. Look how HaKadosh Baruch Hu treats them when he's alive. Tzadikim. People become greater in their death. How much will they be honored by HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Even because what was going on here is Really, Pinchas ben Yair didn't want to eat by somebody. His practice was not to go by. So even though originally he agreed, eventually Hashem made it so he wouldn't have to eat there. Tzaddikim are higher in their death more than in their life. Shneimar, vayiem koivrim ish v'nei rau es hagdud. We learned this in Melachim. They buried this guy. Vayashlichus haish bekever Elisha. They put him in the grave where Elisha is buried. Vayelech vayiga ish batzbos Elisha vaychi vayakam al raglav. The man who was dead touched the bones of Elisha, and he came back to life just by touching the bones. And during Elisha's lifetime, he resurrected the Ben Ashunamis, right? The son of the woman from Shunam. But there he had to daven and had to run around. He had to do a lot of work. Here he just had to touch with bones. So you see, after his death, he was on a higher level. Elisha's Rebbe Eliyahu Navi blessed him. You should have double brachas of what I had. Now, Eliyahu had resurrected a boy. Now, Elisha would have resurrected two people, the Ben Shunamis and this guy. So maybe it has nothing to do with that he's greater in his death. This person stood up only for a minute, and then he went. He died again. And that in order for him not to be buried with Elisha, because he was not roy for that. So he lived long enough so he could walk, and he died in some place else. So it was really Elisha's chus. Elabamai Kayim. How was Eliyahu Navi's bracha fulfilled? Rav Yechlan, Sheripet Saras Naaman. Naaman, the Ammoni general, was cured by Elisha. Curing leprosy is like resurrecting somebody from the dead. She shkula kamesh, and Emmer al natihi kames. Miriam was referred to a maze like when she had mitzaras. Shman yemim. These white mules are called yemim. Everybody's afraid of them. He was good in medicine. Nobody asked him about a wound from these mules where they would live. We see that people live. Aim of achayas. Yeah, but nobody ever consulted him. We do see that it heals. The chivin reish karaya kamrina. Mules whose feet are also white, those will not heal. So it says einod milvado. Witchcraft, sorcery, cannot stand up against a Kadosh Baruch Hu. So there was a witch, who wanted to take the dirt underneath Rav Chanina's feet, mitutekari de Rav Chanina, and do some kind of hocus pocus to kill him. Amr lo shkuli. So Rav Chanina said, "You can take my dirt. Lo mistay milcha. It won't help you. Ein od milvado ksiv. You can't fight HaKadosh Baruch Hu." Avraham Yochanan lama nikra shmon kshafim shemakishin p'mal yishamal. The word kshafi means they fight against people in the upper world. Rav Chanina had special protection. A person doesn't stub his toe on earth. It's been declared in Shamayim that he's going to stub his toe. The way a person walks, his footsteps, is from Hashem. Hashem knows his path. Losing blood when you stub your toe provides atonement like bringing an olah. Rava, that's begudal yamin, your big toe on the right. uvenikov sheni, stubbing it twice, but you're stubbing it on the way to do a mitzvah. He never ate bread that didn't belong to him. When he matured, he never even ate from his father. So you're not even supposed to take a gift even from a parent.
Oh, yeah, when you're obviously stubbing your toe is a very painful thing. It's like bringing a corpse. It's like,
Like bringing a korban.
Yeah. Okay. Mario, we go to the other Daf.
Let's do Menachos Kuf Tesom with Beis.
You want me? I'll stop it, but not completely.
You don't have to stop it. You don't have to stop it.
No? Okay.
You don't have to stop it. Rav Nachman. There was a machlokes, Rav Nachman, Rav Sheshes, that if a Kohen does avoda in the base of Avodah Zarah, whether he can work in the base of Mikdash later on after he did Shuvah. Rav Nachman says he can. The Tanya. Kohen sha'ovad avodas kechavim v'shav. Kohen that worshipped Avodah Zarah or served as a Kohen there, and he did Shuvah, korban reich nichach. If he comes back to the base of Mikdash and he offers a korban, Hashem will accept it. If he didn't commit the Aveira willingly, it was an accident, he didn't know that it was a Avodah Zarah, then my Vishav. So what do you mean he did Shuvah? Shav v'oimedu. He was always in that state of Shuvah. Elab shita b'mezid. Must be he did it b'mezid. V'hi b'zrika. And if he did Zrika, kishav ma'avda. Hayavad lo shemus. Zrika, according to everybody, is servicing the idol. And Allah b'shchita. It must be a shchita, which is not considered shirus. And so you see the Brisa says, even so, you can go back to the base of Mikdash and do korbanos. It's not amazing. It was a shoygeg. You had a problem. How is he about tshuva im shavmi ikaro? That means he did tshuva right away. When he worshipped the idol, he did it b'shoygeg. Then in a chanami korban reich nichach. Later on, if he did shuvah, but v'im lavin korban reich nichach. If he did it b'mezid, we won't accept it. What about? So we talked about zrika, where it looks like everybody accepts that it's not voda. We talked about shchita, where there's a machlokes. What about ishtach hava? You bow down lavaris kechavim. Again, Rav Nachman Amar korban reich nichach. If he does shuvah, his korbanos are accepted. Rav Sheshes Amar ein korban reich nichach. Hoyd lavaris kechavim. He accepted upon himself that this avodah zarah will be his avodah zarah. And then he did shuvah, and he worshipped in the base of Mikdash. Rav Nachman Amar korban reich nichach. Rav Sheshes Amar ein korban reich nichach. Why do I need all of these machlokes from tzricha? If we only had about the zrika, Rav Sheshes, Mishum Davdi Leishirus. That's why Rav Sheshes says he never can come back because the Mamish did Sherus. Aval Shchita the Loavat Leishirus. Shchita is not a real service because we see a non-Kohen can do it in the base of Mikdash. Maybe I'm aim a model in Rav Nachman. Maybe he agrees with Rav Nachman that he can do his korbanos later on. Biashmin and Shchita. If I only saw the machlokes by shchita, mishum David le'avoida. Well, that's still an avoida to the oved kechavim, aval ishtachava. Just bowing to lo oved le'avoida, aim lo. Maybe Rav Sheshes would not say that we don't accept his korbanos. So tzricha, we needed the machlokes by bowing. V'yashmin ishtachava mishum David le'maisa. Bowing is at least an action. Aval hoida b'dibur, just accepting with your mouth. I accept you, which maybe Baal Me'im alone. Maybe there Rav Sheshes wouldn't say it's usher. Tzricha, so we needed the machlokes there as well. Vein tzarach lomer davracha, the Mishnah said, if Kohanim worship in a base of Avodah Zarah, then certainly they can't worship in the Beis Hamikdash. By telling me that you can't, if they work in Beis Chonyo, you can't do that. But then certainly in the Beis Avodah Zarah, it's Allah has come of a kama that they wouldn't be. What kind of chiddush is that? Maybe from there we would learn that Beis Chonyo was not a place of Avodah Zarah. And therefore, Tanya Commando Omar, Beis Chonyo, Lava Avodah Chavimu. It's a Tanaitic dispute whether Beis Chonyo in Alexandria was a Beis Avodah Zarah. The Tanya. Also, Shana Shemei Shimon HaTzadik. The year when Shimon HaTzadik died, Omer Lahan Shana Zuhu Meis. He predicted his own death. Omer Lo Minayin Atayodea. So they asked him, how do you know? Omer Lahan Kol Yom HaKippurim. He was the Kohen Gadol. He went into the Kodesh Kadoshim. Every Yom Kippur, Nizdabin Lizokin Echad Lavush Levonim and Nisatif Levonim. An old man met him there in the Kodesh Kadoshim, dressed in white and wearing a white hat. Either it was some kind of vision he had of human form. Shana Zu, but this year, Nizdamin Lizekan Echad Lavush Chorim and Nisatif Shchorim. The man who greeted me was wearing black. And not only that, Nichlasi mi v'lo yotzei mi. He went in with me, but he didn't come out with me. L'rachar haregel, after Sukkot, Chol Shivas Yomim Umeis. Shimon HaTzadik died. V'nimnu echav ha'kohanim levarach b'Hashem. Up until then, when they said Birchas Kohanim, they used the Shem HaMeforash. After Shimon HaTzadik died, they stopped using the Shem HaMeforash. B'shas p'tiraso Omer lehem. When he died, he said, Chonyo b'ni Yisham ishtachti. He appointed his son Chonyo to serve as a Kohen Gadol after him. Niskani bo Shimi achiv. His brother Shimi was jealous. Shai Gadol menu shtei shanim merza. Shimi was 2.5 years older than Chonyo. So Shimi is going to plan to kill Chonyo. Amar lo bo v'lamdech seder avoda. Shimi said, I'm going to teach you the avoda. Yilbishu b'unkali v'chagara b'tzultzul. He put him in a leather shirt and put a nice belt on him, which are usually only women wear these things. Hemido eitzel mizbeach. He put them next to the mizbeach. And meanwhile, Shimi drifted over to some other Kohanim. Look at what this guy, Chonyo, made a neder to his wife. Also, that when I am appointed Kohen Gadol, I will wear female clothing to demonstrate my loyalty to you. So the other Kohanim wanted to kill Chonyo. Ratzbib name, he ran away. He ran all the way, Holach Alexandra, Shel Mitzrayim. He ran to Alexandria. Ubana Sham Yizbeach. Velav Lav Sham Avaris Kechavim. And he built him his Mizbech, and they brought korbanos for Avodah Zarah. Ucheshashamu Chachamim B'davar Amru. And when the Chachamim heard about that, Mazeh Shlo Yored Lakach, the Chachamim had heard that Shimi had tried to kill him. And Shimi had never been in a position of power. And look what he did. Hayorid lalachas kama v'kama. If he's already appointed Kohen Gadol, it's going to be even worse. Div Rab Meir. Or they were never going to remove Shimi. Because once he's appointed, he's going to be even more dangerous. So this is in the name of Rab Meir, who seems to hold that Chonyo built a base of Avodah Zarah. However, Amar Rab Yehuda lo kachaya ma'isa, el lo kibel alav Chonyo. When Shimon HaTzadik, his father, appointed him Kohen Gadol, he refused. Shaya Shimi Echav Gadol Mimenu Shtei Shalim Umechza, because he had an older brother, Shimi. Ve'afal Pichei Niskane B'Chonya B'Shimi Echav. Even so, Chonya was jealous of Shimi and wanted to become the Kohen Gadol. So he wanted to kill Shimi. Chonya said to Shimi, I'm going to teach you how to do the avodah. And he dressed Shimi in this leather shirt and a belt. And put him on the mizbech, and Chonya told the other Kohanim, look, that he made a neder to his wife, and he was makayim it. Also, Yom Shishtamish B'Kuna Gdola, that on the day that I serve as a Kohen Gadol, Elbosh Bonkli Shlichi Ve'echko B'Tzilzu Shlichi, I will wear your shirt and your belt. Bikshu Efa Kohanim Largo. So the Kohanim wanted to kill Shimi. Sach Lehem Kol HaMu'ura. Shimi told him the whole story, and it was clear that Shimi was not the problem, was Chonya, and Bikshu Laragas Chonya. So they wanted to kill Chonya Ratz Mibneim. So they ran away. Chonya ran away. V'ratzu Achrav. First, Ratz L'Beis HaMelech, he ran to the palace. V'ratzu Achrav. Kol hara oiso omer zehu zehu. Everyone would say, there he is, there he is. And therefore the king couldn't protect him, and everybody was running after him. So he had to run outside of Eretz Yisrael. Holach lazanu shel Mitzrayim. Uvana shem mizbech, but hela alav l'shem shamayim. He didn't bring avodah zarah stuff. He brought l'shem shamayim. Shenema vayah bayom hu mizbech l'shem b'toch Eretz Mitzrayim umatzeva eitzel gvula l'Hashem gvula la. Uksham chamim b'davar amru umazeh shebarach menakach Chanyo ran away and never served as a Kohen Gadol. Behaved like this. Someone who actually becomes Kohen Gadol is going to be much worse. Tanya. Before he became the Nasi, anyone who would have told him, become the Nasi, I would have tied him up and put him in front of a lion. But now that once I have a position of power, before he was in power, he hated power. Now that he had power, he wants to keep it. That if somebody tells him to step down, he would kill him with his own hands. When Shmuel first came to appoint Shaul king, he ran away. However, but then eventually, when he became king, he eventually wanted to kill David HaMelech. Okay, we'll stop here because we're going to start a new sugya. Tomorrow we'll finish Menachos.
Yeah.
We'll learn Chullin, Menachos. We'll learn
At what time?
We'll learn at 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock?
Oh, what are we learning? 5 o'clock? 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. Okay.
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 Shkoyach.
Uh,